all your life, if you want to ignore all of them and do your best, when you come back across the veil, we're going to have the same party for you as the one who engaged them when they were 4. 4 years old. Do you hear that? That's no judgment. There is no judgment. But there is opportunity. And that is for those who want to understand that there is love when you come here. And they come with you. I want to paint another picture. I've done it so often before. I want to paint a picture. Here you are on this planet, doing the best you can to survive. Trying your best, perhaps, to be a compassionate individual. Trying to dodge that which you call chance. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're a victim of the energy all around you because perhaps things don't go well. And here are guides who are sitting, looking at you, doing nothing. Because you've never greeted them. You've never said thank you. You've never said, I want you to help guide me. I want you to push my intuition. I want you to help me listen. You've never done it. Perhaps because you've been told they don't exist, or that's silly, or that you have to trust in something else, or perhaps there's a prophet, or perhaps you've been told you can't even talk to God. Somebody else has to do it for you. All of those things get in the way of this perception that you have come in with divinity. But because you have free choice, nothing's going to happen until you activate that. Activating means that you sit again and say, I want you in my life. You're real. I believe it. Thank you for loving me. Can you imagine the love they have for you to watch you flail around, believe what you want to, and all that time, figuratively, they have their hand out saying, take my hand, just do it. Don't you feel us? Don't you understand? Don't believe anyone else but your own core energy. Drop into your heart and see if what you've been told is right, and we will come in if you wish. All your life, they may sit there with their hand out, perhaps to your last breath. That's how much they love you. They never give up. They never give up. They're always there because that's why they're with you. They come with you. Did you know that there's a meeting between all of you before you step into the wind of birth and you come here that says, this time, please, feel us. Don't believe everything you're told. Follow your heart. Believe us. And let us then help guide all the things to take you into the good places where there are no potholes. And intuition will help you meet the right partners and people so there'll be a lot less of the issues that perhaps you had the last lifetime. Let this be a lifetime of beauty, no betrayal, of compassion and love and good things. That's why they're here. There's so much love. Your guides, your angels are real. They even have your name on them, the name we sing in light that you have. They belong to you. There is a system, dear ones, of love. There is a connection with the love of the Creator, and part of it comes in with you, always with you, waiting for you to acknowledge it so you can move on into a divine reality that you deserve as your lineage of an old soul. I wouldn't tell you these things unless they were real. There's no reason to sell you something when you already have it. I am just telling you to take it. See for yourself if it's real or not. Open that beautiful, beautiful area that will flow into that which is your mind and your heart with a grander truth, perhaps, than you've ever been told. That's why I'm here. I'm here to give you information, perhaps that you've not heard before, that is for you, that is loving, very loving. It's not a doctrine we're asking you to follow. It's love we're asking you to follow, the love of God. I'm crying in love with humanity, continuing to give these lessons so that some of you will have a life change and understand that you're always loved and you're never alone. And so it is.
And as we continue that beautiful love connection, I'd like to ask you to connect in with your body so that you can bring your awareness back into your body. And if you've had those eyes of yours closed, I invite you to open your eyes, and we're going to continue this love connection by having a conversation with an incredibly unique woman on the planet. She combines astrology and psychology. How amazing is that? And her name is Deborah Silverman, and I want to make sure that she's there on the Zoom feed. So Deborah, are you there?
Here I am.
So wonderful. Well, Lee, we want to tell everyone about Deborah.
Yes, we do. When Deborah Silverman was just 20 years old, she met an astrologer who blew her mind and changed her world forever. She had officially been introduced to the world of astrology. It was then that she realized the stars in her own world had aligned just right, and she had found her life's purpose.
So Deborah went on to deeply study the mind and body. She earned a bachelor's degree in psychology and dance from York University and a master's degree in clinical psychology from Antioch University. Now, over the past 40 years of professional experience and private practice, she has specialized in helping thousands of individuals achieve emotional health and wisdom based on their unique personalities, and this is the part that I love, using the 4 elements: water, air, earth, and fire.
Deborah has developed a unique psychological spiritual model, combining her expertise in esoteric, soul-centered astrology with her extensive education in psychology to help those going through major life changes, especially those in crisis. What makes Deborah different is not only her honest and direct style, but her fun. She's fun and non-traditional way that she breathes new life into an ancient practice.
Now, her goal is to connect with you on a deeper level and to help you heal while making you laugh at yourself and just accept yourself exactly how you are. So already I am in. I am with you, Deborah. Welcome to our program. And I want to begin by asking, why do you call yourself a yoga maniac?
I think that's so funny that you even know that. I am a yoga maniac. I am a very strong devotee to the body. And you just described it. I was a dancer for my whole beginning of my life, and I've never left that behind. So yoga is my way to honor the temple and keep my channels open and practice discipline around meditation and knowing how to breathe. And it just seems to me yoga maniac's a funny way to put it. It does create like yoga maniac, but it's kind of true.
I love that because it means you really are in love with your body.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
It's a perfect combination. Tell us how all this happened. We love to start at that.
Well, I was very young. I was 10 years old looking through the Detroit comic section in the Detroit News. What was that? And I suddenly saw an article about astrology, and you could write to them and get a chart sent. This is like in the 60s, because I'm way older than I look, 1960s. This was like probably I was 10. So it was like 65 years old, something. And I literally wrote away. It came with the wrong birth date because I was so little and I didn't know how to return it. But that was the beginning of my fascination. Fast forward, by the time I finished high school, I knew every kid in the school. To this day, I have a ridiculous memory of all my friends' charts. I just began as a natural interest. And then as you described at 20, I had the first reading and I was like, wait, you know me better than my mom knows me. And I began the fascination and went on to graduate school to do research on astrology and psychology and found out that Carl Jung was an astrologer. And he was quoted to say, psychology will be a dinosaur science until it includes astrology. So I was like, pick me, pick me. And ever since then, I have been teaching it writing about it, reading about it, studying everyone I meet, asking the waitress at the restaurant what her chart is. And I'm a little obsessed. More than yoga, I'm obsessed with astrology.
I love that. And how does the elements of the earth play into it? Because I am definitely intrigued.
It's the centerpiece of Egyptian wisdom, of the Hawaiian. I studied hula for many years. The four directions are in the American Indian system. The four noble truths are with the Buddhists. Every ancient culture had elders that were speaking to the sanctification of creation. In the tarot deck, the very first card is the magician, and he has four elements sitting on his table. So without the elements, we wouldn't create, we wouldn't exist. You can't live without water. You can't live without air. You can't live without food, earth, and you can't live without the fire of the sun. So how we neglected to honor the creative powers that come to us in the most primitive and ancient ways is a puzzle to me. So I've been obsessed with those four elements in my book, The Missing Element, which is the subtitle, Compassion for the Human Condition, is understanding your personality type based on the elements and then saying, you guys, we got to get balanced. It's like four wheels in a car. If one element's down, the car can't drive. So I've been teaching people for, it's actually 45 years, how to reinvent or reestablish your relationship, like go back to what we forgot to study, which is these four principles in your body, in your life, in your psychology, in your day. And I've seen great results.
Oh, yeah.
People come back to the holy, to the sacred, to the ability for us to say, what is the power of creation? And can I be an assistant? Can I be an agent of healing? Because if I learn those four elements, I turn into a magician.
You know, it appears to me, and what is not really clear in the bio, is that you've combined three things. You've combined the wisdom of the elders, the planet, as well as psychology, as well as astrology, to paint what I will call a bigger picture than I think any of us have seen before. This has got to be an amazing work.
Yeah, and we have a school where people come twice a year. The doors open. It's called Applied Astrology. And within 6 weeks, even if you have never believed in astrology or you've been studying for years, it's a 6-week class. And at the end, people fall in love with themselves right in front of me. It's like a love story.
I love that. I would love to have an example, if you have one, of someone who, as you said, they're very skeptical about astrology, and given your obsession with it and your deep understanding with it, I'd love to hear those stories of someone who didn't really believe it and you shared some information and what transformed.
So I have this great example because she started to work for us. So when she came to the first class, she's very shy, a little bit self-conscious, understated. I took one look at her chart, looked at her, and I was like, you have so much fire in your chart and you're pretending to be a little shy over there. Now I'm not going for it. So let's change that story. So she got the homework of activating her fire. Within the end of the 6 weeks, she lost all this weight. Her husband wrote me. He was like, what did you do? Because she'd been playing this game in astrology. We see the blueprint and the promise you've made. Somewhere you left something behind, or you didn't know how to activate your own natural rhythm. So I give them the code just by looking at the chart as a simple beginning with the elements, as you described, and then their whole life force comes back. In her case, she has really become an advocate and an astrologer, one of our mentors. And I watched her being this really inhibited, not being able, and then suddenly she showed up. So that's one example. Then there's the opposite, someone who's playing the game of being a really outward personality type. But I look at the chart and I'm like, what? You're a meditator. You're playing a game of pretending. And by the way, you're going to run out of chi and you're going to get burnout because you're not being authentic. And when he discovered that he was a meditator, he became this rich wisdom source rather than this pretend game of Mr. Cheerleader Salesman. And he went into an entirely different career.
I love that.
There's lots of questions this brings up, but there's one that's hiding. And that's one, and it's not anywhere in your bio at all, and that is, how do you feel joy fits into all of this?
Well, that's my middle name. I mean, I'm the president of the Juice for Joy Club, and I have no members because when you're raised the way I was raised, it was like, oi, the whole time. So I had to recalibrate, rechange my thought process. So joy is what happens when you're your authentic self. It may not be overt joy. Not everyone. I have a lot of fire, but it may be contentment. It may be calm. It may be practicality. It may be writing, like whatever your joy is that you left behind becomes very obvious by looking at the chart. So people are always saying to me all the time, I don't know why I'm here. This planet doesn't seem to fit for me. I'm with the wrong people. I'm like, well, you've got to first get a relationship with you and you at the divine level. And then you remember. And then as soon as the memory comes back, joy is always sitting, waiting when you're in your juice, when you're in your chi. And I'm headed towards 70. I feel like I've got more energy now than I've ever had because I'm having so much fun doing what